Witchbolt, generally not a great spell, and I may have been slightly unkind to it in the past. The initial damage, it's okay if the enemy is wet. It requires your concentration, then in subsequent turns it's just 1d12 damage. If it wasn't for the wet condition, this would be down in D tier right now. It is not good for sustained damage. However, it was pointed out to me it can be good at damaging a single target. You would never use it for the sustained damage, the concentration element, but you can use it because this is lightning damage. We can double this damage. So to make Witchbolt potentially worth it for a single target, what do you need to do? You want to make your charisma as high as possible. 24 is possible, starting out with a 17 and making it up to 20 with 2 feats. Then there's a hat that increases it by +2, and then we can get another +2 from the Mirror of Loss. Secondly, Marka Heshkir will help, especially for Kreska's favor. What we want is the Bolts of Doom. Your lightning spells deal additional lightning damage equal to your proficiency bonus. It's going to be like +4. Not a great amount, but it's going to be something. So let's do that. You want a level 10 Sorcerer, level 2 Cleric. The Cleric should be Tempest Domain. The Sorcerer should be Dragon Ancestry. And we can pick blue because it actually gives us Witchbolt as a spell. The other items don't really matter that much, aren't really involved in the point of this video. And lastly, we do need to have, or at least it very much helps to have, Luck of the Far Realms. Once per long rest, you can change a successful attack roll against a foe into a critical hit. Why is this important? Because Witchbolt uses an attack roll, which means it can actually get a critical hit. And why we need a Tempest Domain Cleric is because with our reaction, we can use a Channel Divinity to get maximum damage rolled on a lightning or thunder damage spell, or of any lightning or thunder damage we do. So what we're going to end up doing, I'm sure most of you can figure this out, we're going to make an enemy wet, and then we're going to use Witchbolt upcast to level 6, and then use Luck of the Far Realms and our Channel Divinity to do the maximum possible damage. So let me set this fight up, and then you'll join me halfway through the fight. So I can see Gale is going to go after this monk here. And Shadowheart's left behind, so I'm going to need to get the monk to make some people wet. Let's say we're going to target these two. I'm going to save it here so we can actually come back to this position and test a few things out. So I do not like the Fist Wizards. Got a passion against them because they always cast Counterspell. I actually had Will cast a spell to make sure she can't Counterspell me right now. So we're going to go for maximum damage. Witchbolt, upcast to level 6, 99% chance to hit. So we're going to use Destructive Wrath and Luck of the Far Realms. Even though it says both use a reaction, we can do it anyway. Boom! 310 lightning damage. Let's go and see that, shall we? So the Channel Divinity made 12d12 equal to 144. This +7 comes from the Dragon Ancestry for the Sorcerer subclass. And this +4 comes from Crackling with Kreska's Lightning. I imagine you could probably improve this by having some lightning charges as well, but that takes even more effort to set up. And since they're wet, they get that damage doubled to 310. Was that worth it right here? No, it wasn't. I mean, this character only had 45 hit points maximum. Anyway, will it be useful against bosses? Yes, it's good for single target damage. Is it better than Chain Lightning? Well, let's see. So here we are once again in the exact position we were in before. So let's use Chain Lightning. Now Chain Lightning won't do as much damage to a single target. But should you have enough targets in range? In fact, there I didn't. It could have hit up to 3 additional targets, but they were too far away. So I did a total of 284, 333 damage. Now that is more than just about the Witchbolt. Both use a level 6 spell. In fact, this didn't use a level 6 spell slot. I used an item, but it's effectively a level 6 spell slot. One thing against Chain Lightning is that it cannot get a critical hit. I would argue if you've got multiple enemies around, I would go with Chain Lightning. If you have just a single target you want to deal lots of damage to, definitely pick Witchbolt. Let's see what happens when we twin Witchbolt, because we can. So we are a sorcerer, we can twin. Let's twin the level 6 Witchbolt. And let's go for the 2 wet enemies, shall we? Makes sense. So, let's see what happens. Only one of them gets the critical hit. not both, which makes sense, actually. Where both still benefit from the maximum lightning damage, but one of them is almost half of the other one, a bit over half. So that's a pretty decent chunk of damage, spread over 2 targets this time. Even though it's not a critical hit, 166 damage is probably more than we need to do to most enemies. Not all, but most enemies. And let's try and twin Chain Lightning, because we can. Here we are. Twin, we can see it light up here. So I'm going to be a tiny bit cleverer about this. I say that, maybe I won't be. 1. And that's going to get those 3 up there. And let's send one that way. And Destructive Wrath, of course. So we got 102, 91, 182, 51, 91, and 91. One of them made their saving throw, it looks like. Yeah, so we can potentially not get maximum damage with Chain Lightning, but we could, in theory, get a critical miss with Witchbolt. It's unlikely at these high levels. Well, it's unlikely if you've got advantage, at least. And so Chain Lightning did more damage, but to any individual target, the maximum is still at kind of only 182 damage. So is Witchbolt an amazing spell? No. But does it have its use? Yes, it does. If you've got multiple enemies around and you're using this sort of build, Chain Lightning is the spell to go to if you want to use a level 6 spell slot or equivalent of level 6 spell. If you've got a single enemy to target, you want to target, use Witchbolt. The only downside to using Luck of the Far Realms is it's only once per long rest, so you've got to make sure you make it count. And the Channel Divinity is once per short rest, but that goes for the Chain Lightning here anyway. But the Chain Lightning does come back on a short rest, so you can use that one again without having to worry about Luck of the Far Realms. You don't have to be a sorcerer to make this happen. The only reason I chose a sorcerer is so I can get a +7 damage from the subclass of sorcerer, Draconic Ancestry. So let me know what you think of this build. Let's try and destroy. And whether you like Witchbolt any better than you did before, or maybe you already really loved it and now you're feeling a little bit of vindication, perhaps. Anyway, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.